It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. BTI, your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Eagle Radio, Hull Broadcasting, and HayesPost.com, keeping our community connected. And The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good afternoon, and welcome to Tiger Talk. We're live inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, part of Tiger Club, and we're certainly glad to have you with us here on this chilly Wednesday as we talk Fort Hays State athletics. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Submit your questions. You can do it online by going to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on fans. You'll get the drop down. There on the bottom, you'll see the Ask the Coach button, and submit your question. And if we use it, you got a chance to win a Fort Hays State, I believe, football T-shirt from the Fort Hays State Athletic Department from here on Tiger Talk. Lots going on. We're kind of in that convergence season. Basketball getting underway. Fort Hays State men had an exhibition last night. Still with all the fall sports as they start to hit the backstretch of their season. So we'll get you up to date with everything that's going on here in this past week. We'll start with football. Last Saturday, hard to believe it was senior day, final home game of the season, and the Tigers closed out a perfect 6-0 home slate by rolling past Missouri Southern 53-9. They're now 6-3 on the year, 4-3 in the conference. Fort Hays State finishing that game 520 yards of offense. It was the most in a game this year. They'll be on the road, final two, over the next 3 weeks, starting this Saturday in Emporia to take on the 11th-ranked Hornets. It's a 1 o'clock kick at Welch Stadium. Our coverage on the Tiger Sports Network and Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 beginning at noon with the Tiger Tailgate Show. More on the win over Southern and the preview look at the Hornets with head coach Chris Brown a little bit later on in the program. Volleyball only had one match last week, and they gave 6th-ranked Nebraska Kearney all they could handle Friday, but ended up losing in 4 to the nationally ranked Lopers. Tigers held the lead in each of the first 3 sets, so they dropped to 10-9, 2-8 in the conference. They have their final 2 home matches of the season this weekend. Newman Friday, that's at 6 o'clock, and then they host Pittsburgh State Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Jessica Wood-Atkins joining us a little bit later on in the program as well. Men's soccer, they go 2-0 last week. Beat Harding 4-0 on Thursday, then blow out Ouachita Baptist 8-0 as they move into first place in the GAC at 6-2-1. They're now 9-3-2 overall. 3 Tigers receiving GAC Player of the Week honors. Jeremiah Johnson is the Defender of the Week. Wouter Vanderborg and Ben Dixon are the goalkeepers of the week. Neither allowed a goal this weekend. Tigers take their 7-match unbeaten streak on the road at Northeastern State tomorrow. That'll be a 7 o'clock match tomorrow night. And then at Rogers State at 1 o'clock on Saturday. You can watch both of those on the MIAA network. Women's soccer, they got a big win. Beat number 15 Washburn 2-1 in their home finale on Sunday. They're now 7-4-4, 4-3-2 in the conference. That was Washburn's first conference loss of the year. Tigers on the road again. Final 3 on the road. This Friday they'll be in Tahlequah, Northeastern State at 7, and then Rogers State Sunday at 2. Kind of a rare weekend where the men and women are both on the road and playing the same opponents. That'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Head coach Tyson John will be with us here in just a little bit to update the women's soccer team. Cross country ran at the MIAA Championships in St. Joseph Saturday. 20th ranked women. They were 3rd. The men finished 8th. Emily Dirks with the individual title on the women's side. Second straight year the Tigers have had the women's champion. J.C. Vath placing 7th. She gets first team all-conference status. Taylor Hoskinson was honorable mention All-MIAA, finishing 14th. Jarrett Fitzenmeyer for the men was 15th. Christian Dara 16th. They were both honorable mention All-MIAA. Tigers off this weekend. They'll be at the NCAA Central Regional. That'll be in Joplin next Saturday. Men's golf wrapped up their fall slate. They finished 8th at the Tulsa Cup, which wrapped up yesterday. Cooper Scheck at 14 over, tied for 22nd. We mentioned men's basketball. They had an exhibition with Kansas State last night. Pretty good showing by the Tigers as they lose 70-56 to the Cats in Bramlage. Fort Hays State 16th in the Division II National Coaches preseason poll. They'll open up a week from Friday at Southwest Minnesota State up in Marshall, Minnesota. The women, they're ranked 23rd in the WBCA preseason poll. They'll have their lone exhibition Sunday at UConn. We'll have a feed of that game on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 just before 11 a.m. That's an 11 a.m. Central Time tip. Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join fans of the plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we'll talk women's soccer. Coach Tyson Johns joins us next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
He bobbles into the 10-5, touchdown.
Into the edge, and Hays High's going to win this football game. Johnny Rigler is on the spot.
Fire up the 3, and fake it home as it swirls.
Launches a 3, bang, nothing but net.
It's dropped in left field, and we are tied as 5 touchdowns.
He didn't get there, Hays High wins in overtime.
Big play. Horace Allen split to the right. Jabari Lewis here to the left. Cormany tied in right side. He'll come in motion to the left. Shotgun snap. Heaved her back to throw. Plenty of time in the pocket. Zips it downfield. Watts is over to the 10. At the 5. Touchdown. Fort Hays State. Second touchdown of the day for Shane Watts. The first on the ground. That one through the air. His third receiving touchdown of the season. 13-0 Tigers with 1:10 to go in the first. Yeah, some of the action on Saturday afternoon at Lewis Field. Tiger football, a winner over Missouri Southern. More on that with Coach Chris Brown a little bit later. But right now we're talking some Fort Hays State women's soccer. Coach Tyson John joining us. Coach, been a while since we chatted with you. I think you were kind of, 2-1-1 since we talked to you last. You faced Newman, got a 2-1 win, lost a tough 2-1 decision to Northwest. Then you played a scoreless draw with number 20 Missouri Western. First time all year they hadn't scored. And then you hand Washburn, who was national runner-up last year and ranked 15th, their first conference loss, beat them 2-1 on Sunday. I know it's a lot to go over, but seems like your team playing some pretty good soccer right now. Just your thoughts on your play over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of character from that group. Our biggest thing has just been injuries.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a 7-game stint where even if we're, regardless of the result, I mean, we're losing a player almost every single game. And we just got one back, and we may have re-lost her again. So she has her MRI today, and we're praying on that. But no, the Newman game, we gave up a late goal, but I felt like for the most part we played really well. Northwest, we outshot them. We had more possession. We had more possession in dangerous areas. Gave up a silly goal, corner kick, poor clearance. Just came from a little bit of communication problem. Goalkeeper called for the ball, or one of our midfielders tried to head it and fell right to her. And give her credit, she scored a really nice goal on us. So if they're going to do it, you know, you want them to earn it. And so, yeah, moving from there, we knew that Missouri Western was going to be really, really tough, and it's always tough to play them on a Sunday, you know, because you played a really long game on Friday night. Really happy with our defensive performance. Like you said before, they're the highest goal-scoring team, or second highest, I think, in the MIAA, and scored a lot of goals this season. And so for the first time, you know, to not allow them a goal is nice, you know. Washburn, really great game. Started frustrating them right out the gate. The commentators were giving a scouting report. So as I'm watching it back, and I'm like, please stop saying that, because yes, I was doing that. Started time wasting for minute 1 and really, really frustrated them. scored the first goal, went into halftime 1-0. Said, hey, we keep the same plan, keep it going, and that's one of the best plans that I think that we've followed it from A to Z thus far. And I said, so yeah, let's stick with it. They got a goal, I think, with about 25 minutes left, and then we were able to score again with about 12. And that was probably the longest 12 minutes of my life. I'm pretty sure I held my breath the entire time.
If I recall, you played them pretty decent a year ago, and then they go on to get on this run and finish national runner-up.
Yeah, I think they had 6 shots and we had 5.
Yeah.
1-0. Same girl scored the goal, Chloe Shuckman. So I think that's year 3 in a row that she's scored on us. So we're still trying to figure that out. But yeah, we've always played them really, really tight. It's usually a 1-goal difference when we meet, and this time we were able to come out on top, and we were really, really pleased with that because we're fighting for that top 4 spot. We have to win out the next 3, and we need UCO and we need Northwest to drop points, and I think that that's really feasible. Northwest still has to play Washburn. I see Washburn getting a result there, and then Pitt's getting hot right now, and if they can draw or beat UCO and we win out, we'll be back in the top 4 and we'll be hosting again.
That'd be nice.
That is the goal.
Yep, that would be nice to have a conference tournament game here. You mentioned the injuries, and it's unfortunate, but it seems like that is a problem, especially in women's soccer for whatever reason. You've had obviously your fair share, maybe more than your fair share of them. Any reason why that's the case? And then, and I'd say, what can you do to prevent it? But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, they've all been so different. So I wish that we could, if it was all consistent and it's all happened the same way,
right.
I think that would be easier to identify it. But we're definitely going to get in talks with, some physical therapists and some doctors and stuff at the end of this year and just figure out what we can do better to help prevent this. Because, I mean, it's so hard to go through as a team, but also very hard for them as individuals, and especially if it's not their first time. That changes the way that you think about the games. It changes the way that you approach the game, and so we want them to go out there and be very confident and ambitious women, and so we just don't want anything to step in the way of that.
And then the big challenge for you guys is how do you – I mean, you still got to play. We always hear that next man up philosophy, but comes a point when you lose so many, it's hard to do. How you combating that on the field and on the pitch and trying to put your best team out there?
We're trying to get some of these younger ones ready and going, hey, like it's going to have to happen because against Washburn, I felt that I wasn't willing to risk it as much, especially since we were in the driver's seat of getting a result. But it's going to have to happen. It's going to have to happen this weekend. So I think we subbed 3 players against Washburn. So you look in that box score, it's 90 minutes all the way down except for like 3 of them. So, yeah, it's time. And so we're going to do that.
How do you feel they're coming along? Obviously, I understand. Yeah. But do you feel like they're ready to go?
Yeah. It's hard at this time of the year because every single game is so important. And so there's a few of them. They are coming along, and they're going to have to be ready.
Well, you're on the road again. You had that nice little stretch of home matches, but now you go on the road for the final 3 starting this weekend, and we talked about it. Kind of rare, the men and the women both on the road. Not that's rare, but you're playing the same opponents this weekend. They're at Northeastern tonight. You'll play them Friday night. They play Rogers Saturday afternoon. You get Rogers on Sunday afternoon. Just talk about the weekend and the 2 opponents that are ahead of you.
Yeah, so Northeastern's really attacking. Like their offense is very potent. They run a 3-4-3, which that puts 3 right on top, and then you have 4 in the middle. So they'll have us outnumbered in there because we'll play a 4-3-3. But I like the way that our little freshman's coming along. Taylor Hill scored one of the goals against Washburn, and then Allison, who's a senior, scored the other. And so for those 2 coming along, I think that they're going to give them everything that they can handle and more. And so we're going to put them under pressure, and with them having a back 3, we're going to go man-to-man on a back 3 and go, let's see what happens. Rogers got a really good result. They drew against UCO last weekend, so they're starting to peak at the right time. So it's always a tough weekend to go down there. It's one of the farthest trips, and then one field is grass, the other one is turf.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah.
There's another variable there. And even with Kearney coming, Kearney's done a really good job. Kearney beat Emporia, so there's nobody right now that's necessarily playing bad, which makes it tough at this time of the year. But we also, I think, right now are playing some of our best as well. So
yeah, next Wednesday we're here. You're going to be up in Kearney getting ready for a match with the Lopers at 7 o'clock on November 6th. And as you said, obviously, you battle all year, and I guess if the season started and you were told, hey, if we can win your last 3, you got a chance to host a first-round conference tournament game, you'd say, hey, we'll take our chances and go. But your team has done enough to put themselves in this situation despite all of the adversity and setbacks they've had to deal with this season.
And that just takes a lot, because that's their friends, that's their family. And so, for them to be able to stick together and stick it out and still be able to show up and, kind of muster up that energy and willingness to go and fight has been difficult for them, but they're a great group, and we're just happy to be able to have it in our own hands.
All right. Well, sounds good. Coach, as always, we appreciate your visit and updating us. Keep it rolling, playing some pretty good soccer right now, and hopefully get a couple of good decisions, good results, as you say, on the road this weekend.
We're hoping.
All right, there you go. Tyson Johns, he's the head women's soccer coach at Fort Hays State. Again, there'll be an action Friday night, 7 o'clock, Northeastern State, and then Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock at Rogers State. Those will both be on the MIAA network. And then next Wednesday, November 6th, 7 p.m. up in Kearney against the Lopers. Tiger Talk today brought to you by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. More after the break on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Being a foster grandparent has definitely given me a purpose in life.
Just been so happy, just so much more energy than being at home alone doing nothing but watching TV. It's the best part of my life.
Best part of being a foster grandparent volunteer, watching the light up in the kids' eyes.
I'm living again, and the foster grandparent did that for me.
Shotgun for Hebner, and he hands it up the middle. That is Watts. Shane breaks a tackle up the near hash. 50, foot race 40, to the 30, to the 20, angles outside 10, 5, touchdown! Fort Hays State, 79 yards from Shane Watts. A career-long run for the DeSoto senior. His 3rd touchdown of the game, and the Tigers lead 27-3 with 6:10 to go in the 3rd. Yeah, big run from Watts. He's 2nd in the MIAA in rushing yards per game, having himself a great season. Big touchdown there in Saturday's win over the Lions. Tiger Talk this afternoon brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Joined now by volleyball coach Jessica Wood-Atkins. Tigers had only one match last week. That was up in Kearney on Friday, losing in 4 to the 6th-ranked Lopers. And we talked about it last time you played them. You're not into moral victories, but to go on the road, that's as difficult a place to play as there is anywhere. Your gals, boys, they really battled in that one. Just came up short, obviously, to a very, very good team. But you had to like the fight and the way your team battled all night long in that one.
We did. I mean, we were just talking. The first set alone lasted almost an hour.
Wow.
So it was a very difficult match. They always had their regular crowd, though I will say ours is better.
Of course.
And, they invited all the kids out. They had a bouncy house. Our middles actually jumped in there when we had some free time before the match. But, no, it was a rowdy place. But I think that our girls actually they did a really good job of just kind of tuning that out and working at it just like we would every day in practice, and that's what we've been talking about. You do what you do every day in practice. That's what you got to do. Just repeat. And we've been working a lot on that. But, that first set, a lot of controversial calls, a lot. I think that both their coach and we could have maxed out the challenge rule that first set. Mm-hmm. But we came out and we were just on fire. We were ahead, and they came back and got us 28-26, but then we did the same to them that second set. And so it was just back and forth all night. Wish it would have gone the other way. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I think just like, our soccer coach was saying, our girls they're peaking. They're coming on and they're playing the best ball yet. And I still think that our best is yet to come.
Yeah, 28-26 the first. You win the second, 26-24 the third. They win 25-22. I mean, that's a lot of energy, a lot of exertion. I mean, a lot of points scored for your gals in that, for both teams, really. Could you see a toll in that? Because, I mean, it's just a lot of high stress. You always hear in baseball, high, leverage pitches. That's a lot of high leverage volleyball going on there.
It is, yeah. And we talk about, the arm swing is a lot like a pitcher's arm swing. They're just jumping while they're doing it. And I think we see it a little bit more in the legs sometimes than the arm. Is when we had a lot of massive rallies. I mean, that ball was crossing the net 10, 12 times. And when the girls have to jump twice each time it crosses the net between the block and the hit, it'll take its toll. You're not jumping your highest all the time, which means that you've got to really adjust for that. And it definitely sets in the longer you play.
And we say you're not into moral victories, you're into getting victories, but you go back even, as this program matures and you continue to grow it, a 28-26 loss like that would have probably been devastating a few years ago, and you don't bounce back as well, but showing some resilience to come back and then win another tight one the next time out. I mean, it's a process, but you got to be pleased with that, the resiliency like your team has showed in those situations.
It is a process, and I think as a coach we look at the mental process, and the mental side of things is the hardest thing to change with athletes. And I think we're seeing little victories in that every day. And encouraging the girls to keep after it, to press in, because those mental victories will perform. They will turn into the W's on the scoreboard if they stay after it. And so, we are making progress. It is hard for me as a coach because I am very competitive, but they see it. And they believe it. The hardest part is just seeing those little victories against those toughest teams. We wanna get those wins.
Who stood out for you in that match? Who played really well? Who are you proud of? I imagine that list is pretty long.
They all played really well. I would have to say it was a collective effort from our defenders that kept us in that the way that we did. They were phenomenal. I probably shouldn't have done this, but went back and read the news release from Kearney afterward, and their coach said the same thing. He could not believe how our defenders played, and I think that they played just a significant role of keeping us in that match. And we've said it from the start of the season. Our right side, when she's healthy, we have a lot better chance at winning. And when she is not feeling good, it shows. And so we've been working very hard to get her the rest when we can, and she had a great night. Well, Claire Olson.
Claire Olson, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, it's obvious. When she's going, it just and everybody follows. I mean, they feed off of the energy which she brings when she's feeling well.
Yeah, she's our senior. She's our leader, and so she had a fantastic night.
Well, you come up short, but put up a good fight, and now you're home for the final two matches. Friday night, Newman at 6, and then Saturday afternoon, you get Pittsburgh State at 2 o'clock. Maybe a little preview on those two, what to expect. As you say, it'll be senior day on Sunday, but it'll be a quick ceremony. Be sure you get there, but just the one.
Yeah. We are also honoring Jessica Saunders, who's been a member of our team. Due to her knee issues, she wasn't able to play this year, so she's been serving as a student coach. Okay. So we will honor both of those ladies on Saturday. But Newman. God, good quote. Newman on Friday, they are not quite as fast as a lot of the teams that we're seeing. They have a middle that is huge. She's the biggest middle in our conference. And so moving her around is the key to them, and just keeping the ball on their side of the court. But they move a little bit slower, and so I think that's an adjustment when you're used to speed. You like speed. Pitt, actually, they are a much faster team when they're in system. And so when they're in system, they'll try to keep the ball right at just above the height of the net. And so it makes it very difficult for your blockers to get there, and your defenders really have to do a good job. And so for them, we have to keep them out of system as much as possible. And they run a 6-2, so they'll have 3 hitters at all times. And so we have to work very, very hard to push them both in serve and in defense to keep them off the net so that they only have one option. But they're a good team. But I think it's going to be a good weekend for us.
Should be a lot of fun. Newman again on Friday, and then Saturday at 2 o'clock, Pittsburgh State. And we touched on it, senior day with Claire, and you kind of talked about her weekend, but what she's meant to this program. Obviously, she's been through a lot. She's come so far and, has had a great career. She's, and to battle the injury, I'm sure it's frustrating for her and everyone that she's not 100% all the time, but she's still obviously a team leader and just has meant so much to you guys.
She is a tough cookie, man. She's been playing since her freshman year. She beat out a junior her freshman year, which is hard to do. So, yes, we have relied on her a lot over the course of her career, but she's just so steady. She does not get rocked. She does not get emotional. And I think for our young girls, because we have quite a few, they look to her for that. She keeps them steady. She keeps them calm. And so, she's definitely a really important role for this team and has been very important in the development of our young ones because she's not loud. She's not a talker. She's just a kid that says, follow me. I'll show you how to do it. And she does a great job.
Well, it'll be good to honor her, and hopefully she can have her final match of the Coliseum on a victory as you send her out. Coach, as always, appreciate the time, and good luck against the Jets and the Gorillas this weekend.
Thank you.
There you go. Jessica Wood-Atkins, head volleyball coach again. That'll be 6 o'clock Friday and 2 o'clock on Saturday for the Tigers against Newman and Pittsburgh State. And you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports in the Sideline Store. Go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, fhsuathletics.com. Click on Shop. There you'll find hundreds of products and designs and every item customizable. So go to fhsuathletics.com. Click on Shop to open up the Tiger Team Store. We'll take another break. We'll talk some football with head coach Chris Brown next. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, real country. 99 KZ Country.
Back to pass, Hebner, time in the pocket, steps up, throws it to the end zone, leaping catch, Jaden Horace, touchdown, Fort Hays State. One of the best catches in Horace's career, his second touchdown catch of the day. It's 36-3 Tigers with a minute 58 to go in the third. Yeah, more of the action from Saturday's win over Missouri Southern. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's brought to you by The Taco Shop. You can order by phone, use the Taco Shop app, dine in, carry out, or delivery. They're just east of the Fort Hays State campus on A Street. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. Joined now by football coach Chris Brown, and congratulations. You scored a lot of points, had a fun day. You had senior day, a lengthy senior day with all the guys you honored before the game, but always nice to send them off with a win, and your team took care of business and got an easy one for a change. Didn't go down to the final possession or two. That was fun.
It was a good game. Our guys played really well. There's probably only like 5 minutes in that game that I wasn't pleased with, and that was, we scored the touchdown and got the penalty with the illegal man downfield, missed the field goal, then we let them go down and get a field goal right before half. And so, but I thought our guys played really well. Probably the overall best game that we've played so far. Played physical, played aggressive, did well on offense, defense, and special teams. And you can't ask for more than that. But a great way to send our seniors off. 23 of those guys that have been a big part of this program for a long time.
Yeah, they've been through a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and having a fun season so far this year. And it was nice to see everybody get into the mix. I mean, all the things that have been going well. Shane Watts has a big day on the ground. Another game in which your offensive line and defensive line, but we'll talk about the offensive line guys at first. They controlled the line of scrimmage, and Shane had a lot of holes to run through. 201 yards for him, back-to-back games of over 100, and he ran the ball well, and do such a good job of getting to him in the pass game, and then his running continues to get better and better and better.
He's a great player. He's really starting to learn how to be patient on his runs and starting to set up his blocks and understanding where the blocks are going to be, and just giving those guys, the pullers and the tight ends, time to kind of seal those things up and lets the hole open up a little bit more. He's been hitting it pretty hard, and when he needs to break tackles, he breaks tackles. But, him being able to catch the ball out of the backfield as well is huge. That's the kind of running back that you want. That's a dual threat guy that can catch and run. And, he can do both of those. But, he's played really well for us this year. And, I'm glad he took that gamble on himself a couple of years ago, moving from defense to offense. And, he's done well for us.
I know after the game, you kind of, when you talked with us on the radio, you maybe didn't think your guys played that well. But I know you watched the film, and maybe even they surprised you about how well they played in that game.
I think it's just cranky Coach Brown.
Is that what it was? Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
On game day, he's never really satisfied. He's never really happy. But, I even told him on Monday, sorry, I was kind of cranky at the game, and, I expected more out of you. But after watching it, you guys played really, really well, and they did, and it was good to see that.
No doubt about that. And I mean, Missouri Southern has struggled. They've gone through a lot of injuries, and that's had a big part of it. But that was a game going in, you were the better team. And it was good to see your guys take care of business, because I think we asked you the week prior. I mean, you're coming off the heartbreak against the top 10 team in Pittsburgh State, and now you have a one-win team. And getting back, getting off that loss and focused to do the things you need to do, it's not always easy, but it looked like your team handled all of that well, and it showed on Saturday.
They did a great job. I mean, with weights that week and just going to classes and getting their study hall hours in, and then coming to practice. Our guys really came to practice last week to get after it and get better and go get a win. And when you got kids like we have with great character and a great work ethic, those things are going to happen. But I'm proud of the way they rebounded and bounced back, and we got a huge win last week.
We kind of touched on the offensive line, and we talked about Shane, but just talk about their progression. It seems like they're playing their best football. Probably no surprise, Brandon Kerr's been back, and he's been consistent in that lineup again.
Yeah, they've done well. They're really, protecting the quarterback, in passing situations, and getting Kerr back does help us with just the communications and things like that. And he's a very good football player as well. But you can really see things starting to click, offensively right now, and everybody's kind of on the same page. And like Coach Wood Atkins just said, we're starting to kind of peak and start to play our best football, right now. So hopefully that continues this next week. But I really think as a whole and as a group, that group has really come a long ways in a short amount of time, because, with a transition with coaches and things like that, things get a little bit different. But I think Coach Amari Ingram-Boldham has done a great job with those young men and getting them, prepared each week on the things that they need to do to win ball games.
And I think it was nice. Jack got to play a lot in the second half, score a couple of rushing touchdowns. He's handled the change of quarterback as you would expect a veteran like him and a great teammate. That's never easy, but he's handled it with the way you would hope to, and he's helping bring Caleb along. But nice when you get a chance to get him in there and have some success, especially on senior day. That was pretty cool.
It is. I mean, the way he's handled this whole situation is amazing. It just kind of talks to the character of who he is as a young man, and he cares about this team, and he wants this team to win, and so he's going to do everything he possibly can. And he does help Caleb in the film room. On game days he's helping Caleb as well, and but get him in the game and seeing him score 2 touchdowns is awesome, because he's done a lot for this program as well, and just giving those opportunities, and he gets in there and he still does Jack things, and that's good things as well. So I'm glad we have 2 quarterbacks that are like that, because if one goes down, the other one can come right back in. So, but I'm proud of him and the way he's handled this whole situation, and just him being a great leader for us.
Yeah, it's fun to see having success as well. Tiger Athletics proud to partner with the Kansas Drive to Zero Coalition. They encourage you to join Tiger fans with a plan. Always have a designated driver or other sober ride to and from your destination. Tigers in Emporia taking on the 11th ranked Hornets on Saturday. We'll have a preview look with the 7-1 ESU Hornets when we come back. You're listening to Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
When it comes to screen printing and embroidery, your first choice should be Redeem Designs in Hayes. Turn it up with Redeem Designs, where it's not just about the products, it's about the partnership. At Redeem Designs, you're part of the process. They work closely with you to ensure your vision comes to life. So turn up your 2024-25 season with Redeem Designs.
Drake Reese has his extra point block. This is picked up by Fort Hays State. It could be points if they score. Running up the near numbers 30 to the 20 to the 15 to the 10. He's into the end zone. Travion Mitchell scores 2 off the block extra point.
Yeah, ever seen a play like that? I was trying to remember if Fort Hays State had scored on a similar play off an extra point. I couldn't find it. Didn't have time to research a whole lot this week. But that was a unique play. You found a lot of ways to get points on the board Saturday.
You don't see that happen very often. If it does get blocked, usually somebody falls on it or the guy gets caught. And I thought Travion was going to get caught by the kicker there for a second, but he turned on the afterburners there at the end. But yeah, we were harassing him a little bit in meetings the other day about it. So good thing he didn't get caught.
And his dad was an All-American track and field runner at Fort Hays State. That may have been worse than the ribbing he got from his dad. Need to remind you, Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes-Med Orthopedic Institute. They're the most comprehensive orthopedic care in western Kansas. Let the experts at Hayes-Med Orthopedic help you move freely. Learn more at hayesmed.com/orthopedics. Before we talk about the Hornets real quick, John Johnson, you brought him to Tiger Club today. What's it meant to have him back in the fold after the injury? We didn't recognize him without the club on his hand when he came here today, but what's it meant to have him back? Just obviously his skill and ability, but his leadership on that defense, because I don't think it's a coincidence since he's returned, a defense has stepped it up to another level. It
really has. Just him knowing, our defense, in and out, his leadership on the field, the physicality he plays with. I mean, just his length alone and his size. For a quarterback, seeing that, and running backs, a guy that big going to come hit you, and just all those things that he does, his ability to cover receivers and get into pass coverage and fill holes and plug holes and take on offensive linemen and plug the hole up and make the thing bounce. So he's just a tremendous football player, and there's no doubt about it. He's a first-team all-conference kid last year, and hopefully he gets that again this year, even though he missed a couple of games. But he's just a tough kid that works hard, and I'm glad he's back with us.
Yeah, led you with 8 tackles, and he had an interception with that club and all. Not an easy feat, but nice to see you got a few takeaways, and he had one of them there.
Yeah, 8 tackles, interception, and he's the one that blocked that field goal.
That's right, yes,
with
he
the
did,
club as well.
So
I think that extra couple inches on that club helped him out.
He forced a fumble earlier this year with that club.
Yeah, he does. So you just keep using it to the best of your advantage.
He may wear it even if he doesn't need it.
Yeah, he had a really good game.
All right, Emporia State on Saturday, ranked 11th in the country, 7-1 overall, 5-1 in the conference. Obviously, a great team. They're battling, even in the loss column for the lead in the conference. They're trying to win a conference title, or at least a share of it, trying to get into the playoffs. Obviously, they have a lot to play for, but as do you. This is shaping up to be another great matchup on Saturday afternoon.
It is. It's going to be a good football game. They're a great team. I think we're really getting to our peak right now, and we're playing really well. We had a great practice yesterday, probably one of the better ones we've had all season long, with just the energy and the excitement and making plays and doing the things that they were supposed to do. And, it is going to be a good matchup. Their offense is, spread offense. It's quick tempo. I mean, sometimes the chains aren't even set and they're already snapping the ball. So we're going to have to be ready for those. They're going to give us multiple sets. I mean, sometimes we're going to give you 5 receivers to a side, 4 receivers to a side, but we just got to adjust and be ready to play and just get guys in the right spots and get lined up. And then defensively, tons and tons of looks, 3-man front, 4-man front, tons of blitzes, a bunch of different coverages where they're rolling different areas and playing some man as well. So a lot of different things, but, I think our guys will be prepared and be ready to go because they've been watching film and doing the things they need to do to prepare.
23 takeaways by their defense, 17 interceptions. We talked about the challenge for Caleb going against Pittsburgh State. This is going to be another equally difficult challenge.
It is going to be a challenge. We just got to read our keys and find the open spots and find the open receivers. Don't force anything. And the thing we need to do is really get our run game established and get it established early.
All right, sounds good. Should be a fun one. Coach, as always, appreciate the visit, and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday in Emporia.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Gerard.
Here you go, Chris Brown, coach of the Tigers, Fort Hays State, Emporia State. 1 o'clock kick from Welch Stadium. You can, of course, watch it on the MIAA network, or you can turn the volume down and listen to us and watch it. You can use a TuneIn app to sync it all up. But our coverage begins at noon Saturday with the Tiger Tailgate Show. Hope you enjoyed it. That's the program for today. We'll see you again next Wednesday right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus.